October 8th, 2009. Red Oak, Oklahoma. A quiet, remote area nestled in the Sans Bois Mountains. Bobby Jamison, his wife Sherilynn, and their 6-year-old daughter, Madyson, packed into their pickup truck. They were looking to buy a piece of land, a fresh start for a family plagued by strange occurrences and dark fears. They drove up the mountain path, and then they simply vanished into thin air. For 4 years, the mountains held their secret. No signs of life, no clues, nothing. Until a group of hunters stumbled upon a sight that sent chills down their spines. 3 skeletons lying face down in the dirt, just 3 miles from where their truck had been abandoned. What happened to the Jamison family on that lonely mountain? Was it a drug deal gone wrong? A murder-suicide? Or something far more sinister? This is the chilling reality of America's most haunting, unsolved mystery. To understand how a family disappears without a trace, we have to look at who they were before they drove up that mountain. To their neighbors, the Jamisons seemed like a normal, loving family. Bobby was 38, Sherilynn was 40, and little Madyson was just 6. But behind closed doors, their world was fracturing. Friends and family noted that both Bobby and Sherilynn had become increasingly paranoid. They lost drastic amounts of weight. They spoke of seeing spirits in their home. Sherilynn claimed their house was haunted by multiple ghosts, and Bobby reportedly asked a local pastor for spiritual help, asking if there were special bullets that could kill entities living on their roof. Even worse, young Madyson was reportedly talking to an imaginary friend named Emily, whom her parents believed was a ghost. They were drowning in paranoia, looking for an escape. That escape, they thought, was a remote plot of land in the mountains. On October 16th, 2009, 8 days after the Jamisons went missing, local hunters found their locked pickup truck on a mountain road. Inside, investigators found a scene that made no sense. The family's beloved dog, Maisie, was locked inside, severely malnourished, but alive. But it was the contents of the truck that baffled police. The Jamisons' jackets, their cell phones, their wallets, and their IDs were all left behind. Most shockingly, police found a bank bag containing $32,000 in cash. If they were running away, why leave the money? If they were kidnapped, why leave the cash behind? A search of the vehicle's GPS showed they had arrived on the mountain on October 8th. Then, police found Sherilynn's phone. On it was a photo of 6-year-old Madyson. She was standing on the mountain, looking directly at the camera. But she wasn't smiling. Her arms were crossed, her face tight with distress or discomfort. It is the last known image of Madyson Jamison. The police launched a massive investigation. Over 300 volunteers and law enforcement officers combed the rugged terrain of the Sans Bois Mountains. They used tracking dogs, drones, and helicopters. They searched every ravine, every abandoned mine shaft, and every thicket of trees. For weeks, they found absolutely nothing. No clothing, no footprints, no signs of a struggle. The Jamison family had completely evaporated. 4 years later, in November 2013, the mountain finally gave up its dead. Hunters walking through a remote area just 3 miles from the abandoned truck spotted bone fragments. Forensic investigators confirmed the grim truth. They belonged to Bobby, Sherilynn, and Madyson. Because of the heavy decomposition and years of exposure to weather and wildlife, the medical examiner could not determine the cause of death. There were no obvious bullet holes, no broken bones from a struggle, only questions. So, what really happened? The first theory involves a local drug cartel. The area of southeastern Oklahoma is notorious for illegal methamphetamine labs. Did the Jamisons stumble onto something they weren't supposed to see? $32,000 in cash suggests a major transaction, but if it was a drug hit, why leave the money behind? The second theory points to a family breakdown. accusations. Did one parent snap, kill the family, and then themselves? Finally, there is the dark, unsettling theory of the occult. Both Bobby and Sherilynn were deeply involved in strange spiritual practices before their disappearance. A local man later claimed that Sherilynn had placed a curse on him. Did their paranoia lead them into the woods under a delusion, only to succumb to the elements? Or did they meet a human monster on that mountain road? We may never know. The mountain keeps its secrets, leaving the world to wonder what truly happened to the Jamison family. This was